They call it peace, and leave only ashes. They preach balance, yet tip the scales. Hypocrisy is their true nature. What is it that makes a Jedi righteous? The strict adherence to an outdated code. The self-proclaimed wisdom that blinds them to the truth. Or is it simply that they call themselves the light, painting all others as darkness? Ask yourself, if the Jedi were truly the guardians of balance, why is the galaxy in a constant state of war? If they were truly defenders of peace, why do they build temples filled with warriors, raising younglings to wield weapons they claim are only for defense? The Jedi do not protect peace. They manufacture it, forcing their doctrine upon the galaxy like tyrants who disguise their rule as righteousness. Their greatest weapon is not the lightsaber. It is the suppression of truth. They strip their followers of passion, fear, and anger, the very emotions that fuel ambition, strength, and true understanding. In doing so, they do not create harmony. They create stagnation. They leave their own kind vulnerable, indecisive, and powerless when true darkness descends upon them. And then, when their order crumbles under its own weakness, they claim it was the Sith who destroyed them. No, the Sith did not destroy the Jedi. The Jedi destroyed themselves. The Jedi claim to be the protectors of peace, the guardians of balance in the galaxy. And what is their peace? A peace dictated by suppression, by control, by denying the natural emotions that give life its fire. The Jedi refuse this truth. They demand servitude to their narrow vision, enforcing a fragile and artificial harmony that only delays the inevitable. It is not peace they seek, but obedience. Not wisdom, but ignorance. They fear what they do not understand, and in their fear, they become tyrants hiding behind robes of virtue. They would rather blind you than let you see the truth. They would rather chain you than let you rise. The Jedi preach selflessness, an empty virtue. They claim that to serve is to be without attachment, without personal ambition. But this is a deception. They do not discard attachment. They attach themselves to power, to their own authority, to the very idea that they are the arbiters of right and wrong. They enforce these teachings with an iron grip, not out of compassion, but out of fear that true strength will expose their lies. Look at Revan, a Jedi who sought to save the galaxy through strength. When he refused to kneel to their frail ideals, they cast him out. Revan understood that power, when wielded with purpose, could bring true stability. Yet the Jedi saw only a threat not of peace, but to their own supremacy. Look at Anakin Skywalker, torn apart by the demand that he reject love, emotion, and loyalty. They denied him the right to protect those he cherished, forced him to choose between obedience and his own soul. When he fell, it was not because of the darkness. It was because of the Jedi's blind refusal to let him be more than a pawn. Their hands drip with blood, yet they whisper of peace. Their greatest victories are built on deception. For an order that claims to uphold peace, the Jedi have drenched entire worlds in blood. The Clone Wars, the Jedi Civil War, their countless battles against the Sith, conflicts they claim have no part in, yet always find themselves at the center of. They do not fight for peace. They fight for dominance. The Republic is their weapon, and when its survival is threatened, they become the very warlords they claim to despise. They say they do not seek war, that they train warriors. They raise children to wield blades, preparing them for battle while pretending it's merely for defense. This is not peace. It is war with a different name. Their hypocrisy is laid bare when they condemn the Sith for ruling through strength, while they themselves enforce their will with armies. They did not hesitate to wield their forces against the Separatists. Yet, when the Sith builds an empire to unite the galaxy, they cry tyranny. Dooku was once a Jedi, but he saw their corruption. He saw that they were nothing more than pawns of a dying republic, servants to a government that rotted from within. The Jedi condemned him, and they failed to recognize that it was their own hypocrisy that drove him away. When the Republic crumbled, it was not because of the Sith. It was because of the Jedi refused to see the truth. The Sith do not lie about their nature. The Jedi do. That is the difference between us. The Jedi preach tolerance until they are challenged. When the Sith rise, the Jedi do not seek coexistence. They seek extermination. To them, the dark side is an affront, something to be purged. They label all those who oppose them as evil, not because of what they do, because they refuse to submit. Their fear of the Sith is not a fear of destruction. It is a fear of being proven wrong. Darth Malgus saw this firsthand. When he raised the Jedi Temple, he did so knowing that the Jedi would never allow the Sith to live. Malgus believed in a galaxy where strength determined one's place, not the false morality of the weak. The Jedi brand those who follow the dark side as irredeemable, unworthy of coexistence. But who is the real tyrant? The Sith embrace power in all forms, but the Jedi wish to erase that which they fear. Their so-called mercy is a lie. Their justice is nothing more than vengeance wrapped in self-righteousness. They fear us, not because we are evil, but because we are free. That is their greatest terror. The Jedi are not keepers of peace. They are keepers of fear. It is why they restrict knowledge, why they forbid their followers from seeking the dark truths of the Force. They fear what they cannot control. They do not seek to understand the Force. They seek to shackle it, to make it fit within their narrow view of morality. Exar Khan sought knowledge beyond their teachings, and for that, he was hunted. The Jedi Council feared what he would become, not what he was. He sought to break free from their stagnation, to ascend beyond their petty limitations. The Jedi do not fear the dark side because it is dangerous. They fear it because it is liberating. It offers the truth they have buried for centuries. That power is neither good nor evil. It is simply power. In the end, their hypocrisy undid them. The Sith did not destroy the Jedi. The Jedi destroyed themselves. By refusing to adapt, by suppressing their own followers, by fearing the very power they yielded, they ensured their own downfall. They were warned time and time again, yet they clung to their failing ways, believing that their weaknesses was wisdom. Sidious played them against themselves, turning their own weaknesses into strength. They did not see it because they could not. They were blind, chained by their own arrogance, and so they fell, and they will fall again. Every time they rise, they bring their destruction with them, because the truth is undeniable. The Force does not belong to them, and never has. The Jedi claim to seek truth, yet they live by lies. They claim to seek peace, yet they wage war. They claim to be wise, yet they fear knowledge. They claim to be selfless, yet they hoard power. This is the hypocrisy of the Jedi, and this is why they must fall.